So today I'm going to talk about my book, which is on witch hunts in the tea plantations of India. What I was very much struck by almost 10 years ago when I just first started talking about researching about this topic was there was these sporadic incidents of witch hunts which came reported on the third or on the fifth page of the newspapers in India. And what was being reported was basically a witch hunt incident where a woman was being killed by a mob or stripped naked or banished out of the community, and that was where the report ended. So from 2003 onwards, I started to look at this problem, and the area where I focused this problem on was in Jalpaiguri in West Bengal, India. And I looked at the tea workers community, which is basically a group of Adivasi migrant workers from other neighboring parts of West Bengal who came almost 100 years ago to work as laborers in these tea plantations. When I went to the field for the first time in 2005, there were two things that I was very much struck with. One was incidents of witch hunts were only taking place within the workers' community, meaning that no outsiders who are not a part of the workers' community were targeted as witches. The second interesting thing which I was struck of, that in almost all cases it was women who were being accused of practicing witchcraft. So there were no men or children for the matter who were being hunted on. So historically we know that women are the most common targets during witch hunts, so it's not a very surprising finding. At the same time, what was surprising is that virtually in these communities everyone, men, women, could be accused as a witch, because there was no particular characteristics that stood out from the accused women, from the women who are not making it to the list. For example, all women of all ages could be accused. Women of all shapes and sizes could be accused. So this was very, very troubling. So in sociology, we push ourselves to think of a problem within the context, within the social context where it operates in. And here the context was the plantation, and this was where I started sort of trying to link up these incidents of witch hunts to the bigger context in which it was operating in. And what I found were some very disturbing, at the same time very fascinating connections. The first finding that I found was that these witch hunts were very much tied to the plantation politics. So as I mentioned before, because this was taken within a tea plantation community, I had to look at the overall plantation industry that was functioning in this particular region. And what I found was over the last 15 years, the tea industry in that region of India was going through a slump. So a lot of plantations were locked out, wages were not being paid, and the worst affected was this Adivasi group of migrant workers. Because I also study social movements, I'm also very much interested into why these workers were not protesting, having some sort of a movement where they could actually represent their rights, talk about their grievances. And what I again found was that there was virtually very little resources in these communities for protest, for a protest to happen. So in other words, the way I interpret these witch hunts it is a reaction of the stress, and it is a form of the protest against the conditions that are tied to the extreme natures of the plantations. India does have some witch hunt laws, anti-witch hunt laws in other states such as in Chhattisgarh, in Bihar, in Jharkhand. There are talks of sanctioning a law in Gujarat against witch hunts, but West Bengal does not have a law against witch hunts, and this is particularly because of West Bengal's identity. If we could pass a law which sort of creates accusations of witch hunts as illegal, and also stricter laws against violence against women that can curb incidents of witchcraft accusations to some extent. If we can ensure health centers which are functioning, if we can ensure proper education. Again, plantations have schools, but they are not functioning at the level that they're supposed to be. That can actually curb down the witch hunts.